Hi guys, welcome. Are you all ready to start making a really fun three-dimensional card for your moms? This is something fun we've made. Um, for this, let me tell you what all you need. Actually, to begin with, let me show you what we're going to make. We're going to make tiny hands so your moms can see the size of your hands, and then we're going to write a very cute message behind it. This is how it's going to work. And to make this, you need a couple of things. I am sure most of you already have a material list. You need some colored paper. It's okay if you have tiny pieces. See, I have like a mixed colored paper, all sorts of shapes and sizes. That's fine. You need any glue. I have Fevicol. You can use Fevikwik. You can use transparent glue. Anything works. A pencil, a ruler, a scissor, some markers. It can be any color. These are just the ones I have at home. The glue and some colored paper. So let's begin. What I need you to do first, it'll be great if you can do it along with me. Take a piece of paper big enough to fit your kid's hand. So kids, find a piece of paper that is big enough to fit your hand. Since I have pretty big hands, I'm going to use a big paper. I'm going to keep the paper and I'm going to keep my hand on it. Do you see how I keep my hand on it? It's not completely off. It's here till my wrist. I spread it out a little and then I start drawing it. You trace your hand shape lightly. Use a pencil or a color pencil, whatever you might have at home. Great. Once you've done that, do you see how there's this outline of my hand? I'm going to kind of complete my hand by making it circular here. So I'm not going to take it till my wrist. This is what I'm going to do. And then I have a shape of my hand. I hope a lot of you have already done that. I know some of you are joining in now. What I've done is I've taken a piece of paper big enough to fit my hand. So in your case, you'll take your kid's hand. So make sure your kid's one hand fits in. Just up till the wrist, you trace an outline of the hand. And once that's done, kind of finish your image by completing your hand. Great. Now, take a scissor and start cutting it to shape. If we have younger kids watching this and doing this, make sure you get some assistance. I was getting a call. An easy way to cut is just cut it in a random shape close to the hand shape. Do you see what I did? It's cut this way. Now I'm going to go along the line. I'm going to turn my paper every time I need to cut it at a bend. Yeah, that's how you do it. It's okay if the edges are not too neat, as long as it looks like a hand. So see, like, do you see this edge is not too neat, but it's fine. At the end, it's going to look really nice. Go ahead, bend at your other finger, turn. Wow, I have really big hands. But knowing most of the kids who are watching us today are going to have really tiny hands. So just to make it easy, I've made two tiny hands as well. Either ways, you go on cutting it. Cut it in shape. A little blunt scissor will also work, since this is just cardstock paper, so you don't need a very sharp scissor. And So remember the bottom part where we said we're going to kind of give it a curve. So just follow that line. There. You have one hand ready. So this is what I want you all to make with your kids' hands. So trace your kids' hand on a paper and then cut it. So find a paper that fits their hands and cut it. I have two hands ready. You all can take your time and make your second hand ready as well. These are my two hands. The second thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to keep this aside. Move away all the trash in the side so it doesn't come in my workspace.
A lot of people have joined in again.
I know a lot of you all have joined in, so I'm just going to repeat it again while the rest of them are making. Choose a paper in which your kid's hand can fit. I want you to keep the kid's hand and let your kid trace his or her hand. Go like that, go in shape, spread your fingers a little, don't keep them too close. Use a pencil to trace and lightly, not very dark, just so that in case we make any errors, we can always erase it. So trace a hand, use a scissor and cut it in a shape. You need two hands like this, two different hands. I've made two kiddie size hands because that's how most of the kids' hands are going to look. Once you're done cutting two hands, you can actually trace your same hand again, so don't even bother using another hand. What we want to do is get another piece of paper, another color. I'm going to choose this green because I really like this color. It can be scrap of paper, it doesn't have to be a brand new sheet. These are just some sheets that have been lying at home. I'm going to use a ruler, a scale, and I'm going to use a pencil. And using the side of the paper that's really straight, you know, that comes machine cut always. Like see on this page, it's this edge or this edge. You know it's going to be straight. You keep your ruler, use the thickness of your ruler and draw a line. A really nice long line. Do you also see I did not draw a line on this smaller part? Instead, I chose the longest part of my paper and I drew a line. Once you're done doing that, take your scissor again and start cutting it on the line. I promise you this is the last amount of cutting we're going to do for our Mother's Day card. No more cutting after this. Kids, feel free to use your parents' assistance while cutting this. So what I have now is I have a strip of paper in a different color or use the same color. If you don't have colored paper at home, you can use any paper. You can use printer paper, you can use some amount of magazine paper, anything you feel like. So what I have now, I have a strip of paper, which is the thickness of my ruler. I have two tiny hands. What you do next is start folding it. So what I'm going to do, watch carefully, I'm going to fold this in. Do you see how it's folded in? Next, I'm going to fold it out. Next, I'm going to fold it in. So when I start folding, this is the kind of look and feel it's going to give me. And then I start folding it out. In again. Out. You might have done craft before where you've used this technique. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar. So I just keep folding it in, out. And then I use the entire length of my paper to create that. So this is how you do it, right? Take a strip of paper. Say I have this strip of paper. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to fold this in. Remember, it's not too narrow. The first fold I'm doing is not very narrow. I'm going to fold it in. I'm going to fold it out. Then I'm going to again fold it in. Then I'm going to, okay, actually this is a fun technique.
So
what you
I
can...
have a question. Is it like a spring? Somebody's asking.
Yeah, it's like a spring. Oh yeah, that's a good example. So this is what you do. Okay, a fun way for kids to do it could be, Do you see how this big strip of paper is pointing me? Like pointing you? Now turn it the other way. So it's pointing the other side. And then fold it this way. Now it's again pointing to me. So I'm going to again turn it the other way. Again it's pointing me. So I'm going to point it the other side. And make sure you're pressing it nice and the creases are neat. Do you see how that is working? It's like a spring. Thank you. Everyone on track? Going well? Very nice. Again, I'm going to point it that way and then I'm going to point it towards me. So now what we have ready, I'm going to keep this aside. This is an extra. What we have is two tiny hands, your kids' hands, and you have a paper that's folded like a spring. Right? There's in, there's out, there's in, there's out. Perfect. Let's take a marker, right? I have a lot of color options here. Actually, not too many, but I've decided to choose a green. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my spring. Let's keep these hands aside. I'm going to open up my spring. You remember our spring was folded this way. I'm going to hold two ends of the spring and open it up. I'm going to leave the first one empty and I'm going to leave this empty and I'm going to write so, S-O, because you want to tell your mom how much you love her, right? So you're going to tell her you love her so much. So S-O space, so leave a gap, leave one of the squares empty and write M-U-C-H. I realize the green is really not looking so nice on the light green, so I might just use a black marker and go over it. Oh, looks like it's got a shading. That looks nice. So you can rewrite over it so much.
The internet is okay on and off, so you can take the image and show it next to the screen, lift it up and show it.
And if you have an extra square left, feel free to put an exclamation mark. An exclamation mark is write a 1 or write a I but upside down with the dot. Do you see how this is looking? Okay, let me turn it the other way. So on each of the squares I've written an alphabet. S-O space M-U-C-H. And then since I had an extra square left, I used an exclamation. So my first square...
We're getting commands to go a little slower.
Sure. Okay, how about you guys give me a thumbs up once you're done doing some part of this part of it. Sorry, I'm unable to read my comments because my phone is put upside down. So my husband...
It's inverted basically because the camera is flipped, so they're not able to see exactly what you've written.
Oh, I see, I see. So what I've written here is so much. Because you love your mom so much. Sorry, there are going to be some technical glitches because this is my first live video. But I promise you I'm going to get better at this.
You can repeat all the steps also so far what you've
Sure.
done so people can catch up.
Sure. So I'm going to repeat the steps so we all can catch up. We start off with a piece of paper. On the piece of paper, you put your kid's hand. Kids, put your hand on it. Make sure your fingers are not held too close. Keep some space between it. Find a piece of paper that fits your little hand on it. Cool? Great. Take a pencil and lightly, okay, I've already done it here. Let's put a hand here and lightly outline your hand. Once you're done lightly outlining your handprint, this is what it'll look like. I'm going to bring it closer. Great. Now that you have your hand drawn, I'm going to kind of draw a curve at the end of my palm. Do you see this? This is the curve I'm drawing. Then I take a scissor and I start cutting my outline of my palm. outline of my handprint. A good way to cut it, first make a odd random shape as close to my hand as possible. Yeah, do you see that? And then you cut it along the pencil lines you've drawn. Yeah, I'll go that way. And once you do this, you'll have a handprint like this. Once you finish cutting this, you should have something like this. Great? Super. Your kids' hands will probably look like this. If you're making one for your mom or your wife, then obviously you'll have a bigger hand. But the kids' handprints should look like this. I want you to make 2 of these. You can use your right hand or you can use your left hand. Both of them can be the same hand. It doesn't really matter. So you have 2 handprints. The second thing what we did is we cut a strip of paper. We chose a sheet of paper. Found the side that's really long, right? I am not using this side. I'm using the side that's really long. I'm going to take a ruler or a scale, align it with the side that's straight and draw. And draw. It'll be awesome if you have a longer scale or a ruler, then in one shot you can draw the whole thing. So you go ahead and you draw a nice straight line. Once you're done drawing the straight line, you don't really need the ruler, so you can keep it aside. Get your scissors out again and start cutting it on the line. It's okay if it's a little uneven. What matters is you have a nice long strip of paper. You can choose a different color paper or the same color of your hand as well, right? Use this really long strip and we're going to make a spring out of it. Now, how do we make a spring out of it? To some extent, let's make it easy. Let's use the ruler again and let's draw one line. Do you see how I drew a line here? Superb. You go on this line and you fold it. So now I have something that looks like this. This strip points towards me. I'm going to point the strip towards the other side, right? This is where I'm sitting. This is the other side. I'm going to fold this again. Do you see how the strip of paper is pointing towards me now? I'm going to turn it again. I am again going to make the paper point towards me. Oops, it's here again. So I'm going to again move my paper and do this. Again, it's pointing towards me, so I'm going to rotate it, fold it, again rotate it on the other side. What I'm creating is this spring. Do you see this? A lot of you must have made paper fans and you would have done a kind of folding that's somewhat similar to this. Right? Okay. I'm going to fold this again. I'm going to do it till I have no paper left. Okay, this is done. Do you see the spring? That's what we need to create. This spring. So now what we have a spring and we have 2 tiny hands. Right? All of y'all should have this. Do most of you have it? If you do, give me a thumbs up. Or wave. Or a smiley. Okay, I'll wait a few minutes. Okay, a lot of you have started sending us hearts. Awesome, thank you. That works as well. So now we have 2 tiny hands and we have a spring. I'm going to take a marker, a color that really shows on the paper you have, right? If I have a really dark paper and I end up taking like a yellow sketch pen, it really won't show on it. So choose a color that you know will show on the color of the paper you have. Example, I wrote this initially with light green, on a light green paper. I wrote it with a light green. It really didn't show much. So I had to use a black marker to fill in. So choose a color that you know will work, and if you don't know if will it work, will it not, scribble on the side of a paper. Don't scribble a lot, scribble a little. Oops, sorry. There, black shows. Let's see, let's test it for yellow. Yellow definitely doesn't look too nice. Let's see, how does blue look? Oh, blue looks good. And let's check green. All the options, look at it. Of all the options I have, I think black is a pretty good winner, and so is blue. So I'm going to use these two colors on my light green. What I'm going to write on this is so much. Let me write it for you on another piece of paper for spellings. The message we're going to write is so much. With this greeting card, you're going to actually tell your mom how much you love her, right? And you love her so much. So that's how you spell it. It's SOMUCH. Now, how do we write it on this green piece of paper? We know what to write on this paper, but how do we go about writing it? Close your spring. Okay, we closed it. Do you see how I closed it? Let's open it up. Let's keep the first one empty. See, the one closest to my thumb, I'm going to keep that empty. And I'm going to go ahead, leave this empty, and I'm going to write so, S-O. And because so and much are two different words, I'm going to leave a space. And when I say I'm leaving a space, I mean I'm going to leave one square or one rectangle empty. And I'm going to write on the other one, so much, M-U-C-H. Let me show you a closer view of this. So this is what I did. I had the spring. I had the spring tight, held nicely and tight. I opened it up, right? I left one part empty, and then I wrote so, S-O, and then I left a gap. I left a space because they're two different words. So every time I want to add a new word, I leave a space in between. And then I wrote M-U-C-H. And I left my last one empty. So I have one empty on each end, but looks like I have two empty on this side. So I can put a heart or I can put an exclamation. Let's put a heart or a smiley. Do you see that? So now I have two empty spaces in the corners and I have so much written. In case you realize you don't have that long a paper and you don't have that many squares left, on each square you can write two alphabets. So that will work as well. You kind of need to just fill in the alphabets, make sure you adjust it well. So I have this, I have a so much ready. And I have my little two palm hands. Great. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to get my glue out. I'm using Fevicol, but you can use Fevikwik, you can use a glue gun, you can use transparent glue, you can use glitter glue. Actually, whatever glue you have at home. If you're using super strong glue, make sure you have your parents around to help you so that you don't stick your fingers to each other. I've stuck my fingers to each other many times before. So yeah, let's get started. So I take any one palm, any one hand, choose a nice side. To me, a nice side is always the side that is smoother. Any paper typically always has two textures. By texture, I mean how you feel when you touch it. So I can see this part of the paper is nicer and smoother than this part. So I'm going to make this the rough side, the inside part. So the part that's not too smooth, that is rough, I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to mark it. Mark it with a cross, mark it with a heart, put your initial, put your alphabet, or maybe, you know what, I'll write P because P is for Prapti. Do you see that? Awesome. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Fevicol. In case it's dried, find a way, find a pin, poke it, make sure that's not clogged. I'm going to take my strip that has so much written on it and I need to put glue on it. Now where do I put glue on it? Turn my strip upside down, right? Not the part that has so much written on it, not this side, but the other side. And I'm going to see the side that has so written on it. So there's so, and this is the other side. I'm going to take some glue. I'm going to take some glue. See how much glue I'm using? It doesn't have to be too much, nor does it have to be too little. Just make sure you have it nice and covered. You have your square nice and covered. Yeah, I think that should be enough. Then I take the little tiny hand that had a marking on it and I take the glue side of it. I make the glue side of it and the marking match. Did you see what I did there? Basically, I took my strip of paper. Okay, I'm going to hold on to it for a few seconds. What I did is I took my strip of paper that had so much written on it, went to the side that had so, turned it around, took the glue, put some white glue on it. White glue, clear glue, glitter glue, it can be any glue. Take that and made that glue part sit on the marking I did. So this is what I did. And I'm holding on to it. I'm going to hold on to it for a few seconds. Don't restart. Okay, my internet's a little choppy.
Just give it a minute and I'll fix it.
Just give me a minute in case we log off. We'll come back.
Are you connected to my Wi-Fi check?
Okay, looks like I'm back. Are most of you where I am? Have you got this figured? Okay. What I'm going to do, so now basically what I have one hand and one strip attached to it, which is so much. Now I'm going to bend it. I'm going to bend my spring. And do you remember the other part that was left empty? When we wrote so much, there was one part of it that we left empty. What we're going to do is we're going to stick our other hand here. But for us to do that, let's do a marking. Let's take our other palm. Let's take our other hand. Find the nice smooth side. I think this is my smooth side. Take the rough side and make a marking on it. On this, I'm going to do a cross. Do you see the little cross? In the middle of the palm, right? I'm not putting it by the fingers. I'm not making the mark at the edge of the hand. It's in the middle. And I'm going to do the same on this part.
Could you repeat the sticking part, Prapti?
Sure. I'm going to do the sticking part again for this hand. So you can watch that. There's the strip, right? Not the part that's written, on the empty part at the back. On the empty strip, I'm going to take some glue. I'm going to put some glue here. Not the part where we've written. If you turn the strip around, take the last square or the last rectangle and put glue on it. Once you've done that, you need to take this part that has glue and place it on the little palm that you've cut out, handprint. Do you see that? No? Should I repeat it? And I'm going to press it down so it dries well. If it's really wet and I keep moving it, it won't really get enough time to stick. So after I put glue, I'm just going to hold on to it for a few seconds. Okay. Good. I've got a lot of thumbs up right now. Looks like a lot of fuzz. So this is what we have at the end of it. We have two palms, one on each side. And you know, it's like when you tell your mom you love her so much and you spread your hands. So these are going to be your two hands and so much is going to be written in the middle. It's like this. Imagine this is the hand. Mom, how much do I love you? I love you so much. So that's the design we are working on, right? So you're making your two palms and you're going to stick this in between your palms. This is how it's going to be. If we look at the logic, this is what we want. Mom, how much do you love? Mom, do you know how much I love you? I love you so much. That's what we're doing. I got a call. So mom, how much do I love you? You know how much I love you. I love you so much. This is what we're making. Since we can't always stick a hand and paper together, hand and paper, we're going to stick paper on paper. And that's what we did. These are the hands and you're like, Mom, do you know how much I love you? I love you so much. Yeah, it is really cute. So now that we have this ready, and this might be a little wet, not too wet, let's start working on our hands. Do you see how there are two hands? There's one hand here and there's one hand here, just like how we have one hand here and one hand here. We're going to write messages here, right? So you take a marker, again that looks good on purple. Let's see which colors look good on purple out of the four. Take a scrappy paper, take a, maybe some paper you use that you cut off. Let's try different colors. I'm going to try black marker. Definitely looks very good. Let's try blue. Ooh, blue looks good too. How about green? Green looks fine. I don't love it too much. Let's check yellow. Yellow I can hardly see. Do you see? Yeah, I think I'm going with blue because I've already used too much black on mine. Okay, so I choose a color of sketch pen that works on my piece of paper, my color, right? If you're using pink, you're using yellow paper, you're using, which other color? Orange paper. Find a marker that looks good on that. I've decided to go with blue because I think blue looks pretty nice on purple. What do you think? I think blue looks nice. Okay.
Everybody's liking black.
Oh really? Black. Okay. Let's go with everybody's vote. So I'm going with black. Now, the important part is this is how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it the way I see it. I'm going to explain the logic to you so you can make it your way. I'm going to open up this hand. So I have the message which says so much written here, right? So much. I'm going to make this point towards me. I'm not going to keep it like that. So much has to be looking at my face, right? That's how my hand is going to be kept. Does that make sense? When you open it up, so much should be upright when you are reading it, not when the opposite person is reading it. So there we have so much, and I'm going to fold it. So now I have my hand like that. when I open it up, so when you open up your hands, you need to be able to see so much clearly in front of you. It doesn't have to be funny and awkward for you. Right? Awesome. I'm going to take my hand. So this is going to be the top hand, okay? This is going to be the top hand. Let's call this the top hand. The top hand is going to be the part that is closer to so, and the other hand is going to be here. That's going to be closer to much. And the heart that we've made, or the smiley you've made, or what else? The exclamation you made. So let's take the hand that is closer to so. This, see, when I open it up, this hand is closer to so. So I'm going to use this, and let's see, what message can we write? Since I'm making this card for my mother, and it's just me who's making it for her, I'm going to say, I love you. If it is you and your little brother who's making it together, you would put, we love you. If it was just you who's making it and gifting it to your mom, then just write I. I is when it's just from one person, and when it's from more than one person, then it's we. So I'm going to write I, alphabet I. You remember where we are writing it, right? We're writing it next to the hand that's next to the so. So I'm writing I. Do you see my I? And since I really want to use blue color, I'm going to make a heart. I'm going to say I love. Okay, we need to make it nice. Who knows how to draw a heart? Actually, do all of y'all know how to draw a heart? Let's see. This is how I draw a heart. I make a C. Do you see that C? And then I make a C that's another C that's not really straight. And then I color it up. And while I'm coloring it, I realize it's looking more like an apple and not really like a heart, right? Don't you think? It doesn't really look like a heart. It looks like an apple. So I'm just going to make it, I'm going to make a V here. And then I'm going to fill it up. Ooh, do you see how it's looking like a heart now? Do you see how it's looking like a heart now? So way to draw a heart, at least this is how I learned it when I was a little girl. I make a C and then I draw ulta C. And then I color it up. Only to realize it looks like an apple. Somewhat like an apple. And then I make a V below it. So then I have a heart. So yeah, that's how you make a heart. Let's make a heart. So this is what I've done. Let's go back to a hand where I've written I love, and I want to write a U. So either you can write a U as Y-O-U, or you can just use the alphabet U. Or either you do this, or you can write Y-O-U. Either this or this. You have two options. Then you have two options. I decided to actually spell you, so I wrote Y-O-U. Everyone on track? Nice. So now I have this part ready. I have one palm that says I love you, and then there's so much. Do you see that? But then who are you giving this to? You're giving it to your mom, right? So let's take our other palm, which is empty. Do you remember? This palm has I love you and the other one's empty. So let's write mom. Actually, what do you call your mom? I call my mom mummy. I know my husband calls his mom mom. What do you call your mom? So you can write mom, and the way to spell mom is M-O-M. You know what really cool about mom? Do you see how you can read mom, but if you turn it upside down, it's like wow, which is quite wow. So there's mom. Or if you call your mom Ma, then it's M and a A. Or what else do you call your mom? Mommy, MOMMY. Or what else do you call your mom? Mummy, MUMMY. Do you see these? These are all different words. Since I call my mom Mummy, that's how I'm going to spell it. MUMMY. Okay. Let me keep my spellings here so I don't make a mistake. So I have one hand which says I love you so much. And then I have my other little hand still empty. Do you see this hand? It's still empty. So here I'm going to write either mom or mommy or ma or mommy, whatever you call your mom. In case you don't know the spelling, I have spellings here. And oh yeah, ma. Utkarsh calls his mom Ma, M-A-A. That's a spelling too. So another option is Ma. Okay. So in your other palm, other hand, I'm going to write, you're going to write what you call your mom. I call my mom Mummy. So I'm going to write Mummy. M-U-M-M-Y. So this is what I have. On one hand, I have I love you. And on the other hand, I have Mummy. There's I love you on one hand and there's Mummy on the other hand. So this is how your card's going to read. So it's going to go like, I love you so much, Mummy. Do you see that? Do most of your greeting cards look like what we're doing here? Did all of you get this? Awesome. And I also think that the artist should always have his or her name on it. I think that's really important. It's really important. So I'm going to take another marker and I'm going to write my name on this card. Or you can take a pencil. I have a pencil here. So under this Mommy, I'm going to draw a heart. And I'm going to write my name on it.
So Nupur's son, instead of writing I love you, Mommy wrote I love Dad.
Wow, Mom, that's awesome. Dad has some good influence. Do you see this? So when you gift it to your mom, it's going to go, I love you so much. Mommy, love, Prapti. What are you guys writing? Ta-da! So that's your card. And when you can keep it aside. You can gift it to her like this. Actually, a good way to gift it to her is just go give it to her like this, saying, Mommy, this is something for you. And then she really wouldn't know, right, what's inside it. And she's like, what is this? And then she suddenly reads this. It's very cool. And then she reads Mommy. Since we have 10 fingers, so your card will also have 10 fingers. What you can also do is write down tiny messages or words or draw something on these hands if you feel like, or on these fingers. So you have, remember not to give it to your mom like this because she'll wonder what is this. So you make your card go like that and you go like this. Great. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved teaching you guys how to make it. Thank you for being so patient. And in case you make this card for your moms and grandmoms and aunts, and in a lot of your cases, a lot of you've made it for your dad, please send us a picture of what you've made. I'd love to see. And in case you have any questions post this session, I'm still online. I can help you. Hope you have a really fun day. Have a really fun Sunday, a really fun Mother's Day. And thank you for being such a fun audience, such a creative audience. Go have fun, use colors you like, use the kind of paper you like. You can make this for anybody. You can make this for your friends, you can make this for your dad, for your granddad. Make it for your teachers, telling them how much you love them. Have fun. Thank you. Bye.